All right, we're going to get started. Welcome, by the way. It is October 14th, 2025. I call this regular meeting of the PCSSD School Board to order. Ms. Smith, would you please call the roll?
Ward. Tate. Here. Smith here. Potter. Here. Maynard. Here. Keller. Delaney.
Present. Okay, would you please join us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have a quorum, everyone. Welcome again. We'll get into our celebrations and recognitions first. Our first celebration and recognition is our student board member. Dr. Sharkey, would you please introduce our student board member?
Thank you, Chair Delaney. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Our student board member this evening is Liam French, if you wouldn't mind. Liam is an active member within the Maumelle High School community. He's a member of the Student Council, the National Honor Society, a student ambassador, and he's a representative for Team Sport, which we'll have the induction tomorrow with the oath. He is in the Central Arkansas Water Academy of Science and Construction and has recently been accepted into Arkansas State University,
Yay.
where he will follow his dream of becoming a veterinarian with his cell phone business one day. With 3 years of animal experience already under his belt, he plans to graduate with honors and truly start his own story outside of high school. Let's welcome Liam.
All right, Liam, welcome to the board. You're our student rep for this month. It works like this. We don't follow Robert's rules or anything like that. There's no kind of protocol. We don't talk over each other. Everybody just kind of jumps in. You don't have to wait to be recognized. If there's any questions that you have when you see some information presented or any discussion that you want to give on any item on the agenda, just go right in, okay? You don't have to raise your hand or anything like that. Okay. I've never seen anyone try to vote before, but I wouldn't advise it. But we'll count, I'll put it down, but it won't count.
Okay.
All right. So welcome again, Liam. Our next item on the agenda is David Haas, Fuller High diploma. Go ahead, Dr. Sharkey.
So, thank you again. This diploma is a long time coming, and we have a video to showcase, to share Mr. Haas's story, and then we will present the diploma.
Fuller High School, class of 1966. When I was in school, it was good. It was a good school. I had a letter said, "Greetings, your friends and neighbors have selected you to serve in the armed forces." And I told my mother, I handed it to her, I said, "Tell them I'm already in." There was 4 guys that I know of from Fuller that were killed in 1968. Richard Wells, he'd already been wounded twice, and if he got wounded the 3rd time, we get the 3rd Purple Heart, he'd get to come home. But they killed him. I wanted to get out. I had enough. When I came back, you didn't wear military, you wouldn't put nothing on like this because, you know, the protesters were so many of them, and they'd attacked you and everything, and you didn't tell anybody you'd been to Vietnam until 1991 when the Gulf War broke out. That was when I noticed that people started thanking you for the military service, and they started getting patriotism. And now then, it's nothing for a little kid to come up to you and say thank you for your service.
How are you, sir?
All right, you?
I wanted to congratulate you.
Well, thank you.
For this is a great day for you, but let me tell you something more than that. Thank you for serving our country.
Well, thank you, sir.
I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for you.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
I love you to death, my friend.
Okay.
Don't you ever doubt that. I'm
Okay.
so proud of you.
Well, I'm proud of what I did. I should have went ahead and finished school, but I couldn't do it. There's a lot of stuff that happened that I was so jumpy when I got back, the telephone rang, I'd jump like that, come about this high off a chair and loud noises, anything. It's just one of those things that that's what war does to you, and people don't realize what people go through in that situation. I'm not trying to brag about my service, but I just wanted to let people see what I did. That's something I'm very proud of.
I'm gonna read this. There ain't many of us that can say we was fighting in the war instead of getting to go to graduation. And the fact that he's done what he's done means so much to me, especially after they came back from Vietnam in the way they were treated. So I just want to tell you how proud I am to be standing by you at this moment. I appreciate it. And I want to let you know that the Pulaski County Special School District and Fuller High School certify that you, David James Hoss, has satisfactorily completed the course of study prescribed by the Pulaski County Special School District for the high school diploma and in thereof entitled to this diploma for the state of Arkansas, May 1967. Congratulations.
He is just adorable.
I want to thank each and every person that had a hand in this. It was a pleasure to work with y'all, and I've greatly appreciated it. And it was a long time coming, but that was my fault too. But it's great. If anybody is interested in the Vietnam War, if you see on History Channel the two tapes that are on there, there is a gentleman on there called Ben Purcell, and he was a colonel in the Army. His helicopter got shot down, and they took his boots away from him, and his boots, laces and everything, and marched him from central Vietnam to Hanoi, barefooted, and he didn't eat a lot of times when he didn't get food. Sometimes he got a little bowl of rice or something. He spent 5 months in the Hanoi Hilton, which was the prison there that they called it. And out of that 5 months, 5 years, he never spoke to another American. And he was beat, tortured, and everything. And if you want to find out about what all he's done, there's a book out by him and his wife. She was the one that worked on the patch here to get it. She was at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, when he was shot down, and had 5 kids. And those kids didn't know for that 5-6 years where he was. They'd never heard a word from him. So but read the book if you get it. It's called Duty and Honor, and it's called Benjamin Purcell, and it's a great book, and you'll find out how much he was tortured in there. And also, he escaped twice and was planning the 3rd escape from the prison when they released him. So I met him in a little town called Snellsville, Georgia, and he told me all about, he was telling all about everything, and he said, "What did you do?" And I told him, I said, "I didn't do much." he said, don't ever let me hear you say that. I mean, he put his finger right in my chest. Don't ever let me hear you say that. You did a lot for the country, and you worked every day. And he said, what unit were you in? And I told him the First Logistical Command, and I can't find it now, but I've got a patch, I've got so many on here, but, he turned around, pointed to his shoulder, and he was from the same command. So, and he was a great man, but he's dead now, but, he was from Georgia. He came back and went in the Senate down there for a little while, but he really inspired me. And one quick thing about him, in the 60s, toothpaste come in aluminum tubes. He took those tubes and made him I call it chancery rail, but he took his, like a Last Supper, you know, and he worshiped that, and it was a little bitty deal like that in the prison. And they found it, destroyed it, he made another one. So he was a very determined man, and I really looked up to him. And I appreciate the people that served with him, and he was an excellent man. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Haas. We appreciate you, and congratulations on your diploma.
Now, don't stay out too late at the graduation party.
Okay. Our next item on the agenda is the Inspiration and Education Award with Dr. Sharkey.
So our Inspiration in Education awardee is Mrs. Sharday Wilson. If you would come up with. Right. With 12 years of experience in education, Sharday Wilson has dedicated her career to empowering students and teachers to reach their fullest potential. She holds a bachelor's degree in early childhood education, a master's degree in educational leadership, and a special education resource certificate. During her time with PCSSD, she served as a Title I reading teacher. She became the first in the district and the state to implement Avid Excel and was honored as Teacher of the Year. She also had the privilege of mentoring fellow educators and now proudly serves as an instructional coach at Mills Middle School. Ms. Wilson says, "What continues to inspire me is seeing our teachers give their very best every day through implementing best practices we build together through PLCs and our strong teacher support system." This is our Inspiration in Education awardee.
Yeah, I'm good.
And then we'll put it back. Okay.
You walked right into it again?
Heat-seeking missile. I just don't want to be in the shot. Congratulations, and thank you so much. Okay. That brings us down to our public comments for tonight. I'll read a short preface and then I'll go off of our sheet. We allow each speaker 3 minutes for public comments. I will keep time for us. Our responsibility is to listen to your comments. It is board policy that we do not respond or discuss your comments during this time. My polite request is that for any complaints involving a staff member, please consider whether it is necessary to name the staff member in order to make your point. Clock. Our first speaker tonight is Florence Wiley.
Well, good evening,
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
and I'm here to support Harris Elementary to make sure that everything is done properly there and to make sure that the money that is appropriate for Harris be spent on Harris. Because we have been in last and we want to be first this time, okay? And also I want to talk about the bus shortage, that there are bus shortage in Pulaski County. So I want to know what you all are doing and working on that. That's what I gotta say.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. It's good to see you again.
Okay.
Our next speaker is Charles Sampson.
Good evening.
Good
Good evening.
I am a former member of the Hope Pulaski County Training School and now I'm the president of the alumni. My history goes way back to Hope Pulaski County. I've had relatives. I had an aunt that taught there back in the early 1900s. And my entire family went through Harris. And I haven't been as active as I probably should have been because of other activities that I have been involved in, but from this day forward, I'm going to be more involved in what's going on at Harris, the developments, and whatever else that we deserve as a historic school. I won't be very long this time, but as I progress, as I go about, I might take the whole 3 minutes next time. So I found out early on in life that it's a lot easier to love and respect than it is to hate and dislike. So
That's right.
I was taught to love and respect everybody, even if they didn't like me, to love them anyway.
That's right.
So I'm in it for the long haul, so you'll be seeing me again.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sampson. Our next speaker is, and I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrong, Michelle Prihota Wires. You got it. Okay.
That was really brave, and, but, good evening.
Good evening.
I am here today, on behalf of the Sylvan Hills, parents and students, and I guess all of the PCSSD students that are dealing with the bus shortage, or bus driver shortage. I do wanna say that, I have had really great contact with Miss Maynard, and I think that things are improving, but it does seem like it is still just kind of a Band-Aid, and it is on the verge of becoming another catastrophe. So I just wanted to make sure that I'm present. I said I was gonna be present. I'm more than just a keyboard warrior. I really do show up, and I am here to support both my child and all other kids in the district. And so I just wanted to be here to keep it public, keep it hey, we're still here, we're still pushing, and, wanted to make sure that that's still going to be a item as far as the drivers being, high on the priority list. Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you. Yeah. She knows, I think she knows. We're gonna get there real quick.
Okay.
All right, that is the end of the names I have on this list. We appreciate everybody who came and spoke. That brings us down to reports. We've got three. The first one will be financial updates, and then we'll get to our transportation report and our construction report. First up, financial updates with Ms. Guess.
Good evening, board members and Mr. Sin.
Thank you.
You received your financial information, like you normally do prior to the board meeting. In that packet, you also received a check register. We produced that check register for this month in a by fund form. It is, of course, by check number, but then it is also by fund. We thought that might be additional information. It would be easy for you to see. If you wanted to see what we paid from the building fund, you could go to the Fund 3000 or a fund that begins with the 3, and you'd be able to see that. Now, if you prefer the old one, we can go back to the old one. But we thought you'd like the new one, so let us know if you don't.
I like the new one.
You like the new one? Good.
And just so the public knows, those documents are available. We post them on our website under the board documents, which if you go into the document section, Board of Education, something like that, they're in there.
Having said that you received your typical board report package, let me say that I did place at each spot a legal fund balance,
I got mine.
teacher salary, operating and debt service funds, that's your 1 funds, all your 2 funds, and your 4,000 fund. And I won't read all these numbers out to you, but you can see under the 25-26 column that you have a beginning balance on 9/1 of almost 11 million. You have current month revenues of 4.7 million. Current month expenses, almost 13 million. An ending legal balance on 9/30 of 2.7 million. On the 25-26 column, I included categorical fund balance and reduced the ending legal balance to give you the 2.2 as a current net legal fund balance. The categorical funds are broken down under that first report, and you can see what our balances were in the PD fund, the ALE funds, ELL, as well as ESSA. We began this year with about a little over $15 million, $15.3 million is where we began. Then we have 25-26 information, as I've just gone over. And then I also included some 24-25 numbers for you. As you can see, the beginning balance in on 9/1/24, 11.5. Current month revenues a little over 5. Current month expenses 12.2, with an ending legal balance on 9/30 of 4.3 million. That's a comparison for you for those 2 years. We hope that will give you continuity of looking at where we were at the end of the first quarter last year and where we are at the end of the first quarter this year.
Are you concerned that we're down 1.6 at this point?
Yes, ma'am. The actual number is $1,576,000. We had a larger beginning balance, we took in more revenue, our expenses, were less, resulting in the 4.3 compared to the 2.7.
You'll have a bigger, the 10-15 property taxes coming in November,
November.
so that'll be
Right.
a bigger one for y'all, or a bigger amount?
We got, yes, it should be. We got 13 million in today,
Okay.
as well as the bond sale closed, and we got our remaining funds on the bond sale.
Yeah, forgot about that coming. I
I-
mean, it's
if I
already
may-
gone, but I'm just started glad we got it.
I'm sorry.
She said she knows it's gone.
I know
but
the money's
she's-
spent, but it's like, oh yeah, we got paid. Oh yeah, we're broke again. They're great.
If I may add one comment to her report, and this is something, Board, that I would like for you to continue to watch. The revenues per month are going to change based on collections of property tax. Some months we'll have 13 million, some we may have 28 million, some we may have 10 million. The thing that concerns us, that I want you to be aware of, is to watch the current month expenditures. If our expenditures are going up from last year, then the cuts that we have made are not substantial enough to support the revenue. So if you'll look at from 9/30 of last year, we spent $12,248,000. This year we spent $12,979,000. So we're already overspending in the month of September than we were the previous year. So those are the things that's why we're starting now to compare from last year to this year, so that we can actually give you information that's real time on what we're spending and our expenditures and where our money's going. That is the only way that we can do it, so that we can stay within our budget. Thank you, Ms. Guess.
Thank
I don't-
you.
Y'all have any questions? I'm sorry.
Other questions for Ms. Guess?
I have a quick one. Is there any large expenditure that we've made this month that we didn't make last year? Or like, what would you contribute or attribute most of this increase in spending to? Or is it just a combination of a bunch of different things?
I think it's a combination.
Okay.
But now I can certainly go back and look at those specific questions you asked.
Okay.
Was there something that we spent this year that we didn't in that time frame last year? I can certainly look that up.
I just wonder if there was something like an emergency expenditure or something that we, may have had to spend this month that maybe we didn't last month, like, for example, the HVAC or something like that.
Okay.
Debt service hasn't changed, correct, yet? The debt service,
Hasn't changed.
it hasn't, the amount hasn't gone up yet for the
No,
most current. So it was the same last year as it is this year, so it,
For 26 as it was
The
for
assessment.
25.
So
No,
it's
no,
either
you mean the
salary
payments,
or
right?
operating.
You mean the payments?
yes,
Yeah, those come, we make those in February too,
Yeah.
so that.
okay.
Were we gonna find out about the medical facility or costs that were incurred there and how many students there's?
The medical facility, I understand, is being handled by a company.
Mainline,
I'm sorry.
mainline.
There you go, Mainline. And the district is not funding that.
Yeah, I know we do have some expenses for it though. I mean, I've seen cars bought for it, and I know there are some expenses that we've incurred for it.
In this year's budget,
No, last year's probably. Do
I
you-
can check on
do
that
you-
too, but
do you
when I,
Do you even have a way to code things? Do you know if you have a way to code things to just the health clinic itself?
and I did not find any record of any expenses this year, budgeted revenue, for the health clinic. And, I can't even remember who I spoke with about that, but it was that Mainline was funding that, and the district was no longer funding that, but I'll certainly double check,
Okay, thank you.
sure will.
There may be a grant or something that the state, this started with a grant,
It
but
started
but-
with the
it
grant, but
may
I
go-
think those have gone away.
Oh, okay, so it's not, it could it have gone straight to mainline without passing through us? I think it probably would have to pass through us, but that way you would know about it. So you're not aware of any grants that are tied to this
No,
for
and
this
my
year?
experience with those type, operations are when the grant funding dries up, either they go away or someone else funds them.
Okay.
But I will certainly look into that, in more depth
Okay.
and report that next
And
month.
they are billing insurance and Medicaid when they can, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. For the students they see. Other questions for Ms. Guess?
I got one. So in this scenario, do you believe that the grants are being dried up, as you said, like in our case? Okay, so no one else is paying or providing income or anything for this kind of
No,
situation?
and those grants were, I believe they were state grants.
Yeah, they came from the
And they
department.
came for so many years, X years, and then that funding source went away, and it was not, budgeted again.
Do you know when that was? I'm uneducated, so like, do y'all know when that happened, or did that just happen?
I'd have to go back and look at those dates, but I would
Okay.
be glad, in my investigations for Dr. Tate, I'd be glad to get that information for you.
Okay, that'd be perfect. Thank
And
you.
I think I may know where to talk to you at. Right here, good old PCSSD.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions or comments, or anything else you'd like for me to check on, I'd be glad to do it.
We approved the proposal to do the school-based health clinic in September of I have one here for 24, I believe.
Did you say September of '24?
Yeah, or no, we got a report on it in 24, so I think it was the previous year. So
Okay.
it had already been in place or around that time. So the grant may not be done with, I don't know. You'll know what to do.
I will investigate thoroughly.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have, we don't have these on the agenda all the time, but given the circumstances surrounding our, the transportation, we had, I put that on the agenda, or asked that the superintendent give us a report of some kind from the administration on our transportation issues, a high-level kind of report of just about where we are. I don't know that we need to get into like what's going on with bus route 308, though somebody may ask that. Is that even a bus route? I don't know. But just to kind of get this out into the atmosphere about what our challenges are right now, and then what steps we've taken to try to meet those challenges.
All right, so we'll get started. Board, good evening. I'll start by letting Ms. Mady Nichols, who is the newest director for transportation, get us started, and we'll chime in and go from there.
Okay.
Ms. Mady.
Good evening, Board, Mr. Sand, and guests. I want to talk to you today about the current concerns of transportation. As you know, and it's been noted in writing, that we are 20 drivers short, and it does not help when it's combined with attendance. People are calling off, and that makes it even that much more strenuous. The Sylvan Hills want to address the schedule of the Sylvan Hills. Making that change 7:05 and 7:45 was a tremendous thing. It helped because having to work into the confines of hours and everything else, it was making it hard. So that helped a lot. We did develop a few Tier 3 routes. So everyone is getting to school on time. If we have a bus late, it's because we had gone out because the student missed a bus. So everything is running smooth right now. The student activities impact, the AAA events as well, is hitting us hard in the PM. A lot of trips, and I know that we have to take those, but they are hitting us really, really hard because sometimes we have 8 or 9 buses that's leaving during our route time. So, so that's a challenge. Okay, so, and I'm gonna give you some data that we have, okay? We have currently 378 routes, okay, with 94 drivers to do it. Okay,
94?
94.
90,
Yes, ma'am.
94 what's?
94 drivers.
Drivers, okay. 378
No.
routes across 94 drivers to do them?
Correct.
Okay. That's regular drivers?
Regular drivers, we have 88 regular drivers.
Oh, okay.
And 6 sub-drivers,
For a total of
for
that
a
94.
total of 94. Okay. And to just break it down by our complexes, our southbound has 23 drivers, our west has 22 drivers, and northwest, which is the combination of Monmouth and Sylvan Hills, is 49, 19 at Monmouth, 30 at Sylvan Hills. Okay, so right now, we do have 3 drivers in training. So they're in the pipeline. They should be, next 2 weeks, they should be coming out. And I don't know if you all know this, but our drivers, the average age of our drivers is approximately 55 years old. We had about 7 drivers who retired last year and have been replenished.
7?
About.
7, okay.
So it's difficult, but we're getting it done. Everybody's on staff just like every other school district. We have 5 mechanics out there and office staff. So we are getting it done with grace, like I said. Everybody else is doing it. Now, the number of drivers to show you the disparity in everything that's going on. The number of drivers applied in 24-25 school year were 45. Only we retained 8 of those drivers. Whatever the case may be, a lot of them went to other districts because they paid more money. A lot complained about the buses are hot. You know, they had their own complaints. The number of drivers applied 25-26 was 39, and we retained 5 of those. So it's a challenge all the way around for us, to get it done. And I understand the parents' concern. I've been trying to figure it out since the beginning. So, because we had a lot of call-ins on top of being short.
How many
The
total
train-
buses?
Go ahead, go.
How many buses do you have? Not drivers, but buses.
Buses, we have 205 buses.
And you gotta remember, when we had a large number of buses, we were basically drivers per secondary and elementary. But when we got to a point over the years where we started losing drivers, then you have to basically start condensing routes. And so our drivers run both elementary and secondary routes now.
So how many drivers would you need right now to make all the routes run the way they're supposed to run?
At least 20.
You need
So
20.
like 114?
Like in my north location, I would need about 14 to 15, and 3 in the other 2, 3 or 4 in the other 2. So right at 20. I think it could run effective with that.
How do you approach finding people with CDLs to go into training? Like, I know you put it on a website, right?
Yes.
But do you reach out to transportation? My husband's in trucking, so my brains are not running. Like, do you reach out to like Maverick or any local driving companies? Do you actually go out looking to see who's available and who would want to do this and go through the training?
Yes.
You do?
To all
Okay.
of that.
Okay.
To a point, we're everywhere looking for drivers, not just seasoned CDL drivers. We'll pay for your CDL. The biggest thing for us in looking at the details is a clearinghouse of how to clear drivers. So, for example, you'll have the numbers that she called out, the 45 that went into the pipeline. We may only, out of the 45 that comes into the pipeline, we'll get maybe 10 of those folks cleared once you get them through the hiring process, but then we can't get them through the DOT process, or they don't pass their CDL training testing. Those costs we're incurring along the way, and they fall through the cracks. Now, for some of those who do in the past, and what we were doing, if you guys remember last year when we had this issue with transportation, and it's been a nationwide issue, let's just call it what it is. We're not exempt. It's been a nationwide issue. But last year we were paying $14.50 an hour for drivers. Mm-hmm. Our competitors were paying $21 an hour, which created a fire for us. And then we made a change in the spring, as you guys are fully aware, to raise our rate to $18.10. Well, no sooner than we raise ours to $18.10, our competitors raise theirs to $22.50. So we're always behind, right? The thing that makes us competitive is that we get drivers that are seasoned that comes here after they've been in driving after year 7, then no one can touch us on the pay scale after year 7. But it's getting us through that hardship portion of getting folks to year 7. And then two, what we see also, and I'll touch on this while I'm here, is that some of the drivers and our competitors will not pay for your CDL training. So they'll encourage folks to come see us. No sooner we get them trained and out the door, they leave us to go to our competitors. So one way to stop that is to basically put a contract in place for new hires.
Of course.
To basically say if you leave within your time frame that you allotted to stay with us, then you'll have to reimburse the district back our training costs to make sure that we can retain you for at least a year in this process.
Right.
So we're bending over backwards trying to figure out every little nuance that we can, including just with legal, because we had to go through legal to get that contract established to make sure we're squared away. But it's not because we're not working, trying to figure out every nook and cranny we're doing.
So, when you said that about the contract,
Yes, ma'am.
even back when I was starting with doing hair, I went to a walk-in place and they trained me and they said, okay, you stay here for a whole year before, or you owe us back all the money we spent on your training, right? And so, of course, that's what you would do for a professional, is you would say, or you owe us some time. Nursing does it. I think teachers do it too when they get some of their college hours paid for. So, have you had that be a rejection point?
Well, we're going through that now.
Or it's new?
This is extremely new.
Okay.
We just started.
And then if we were to raise our rate to the, say, the $21, $22, what would that add in cost to the bus department? Like, I was trying to add it up, and I'm like, wait, I don't even know how to put these numbers together, because people are on different levels that have been there longer, right? So, but if we took our minimum back up a little bit, like, how many people are at the base pay for the first 7 years?
So here's the
What
problem
would
we
that
ran
cost
into
us?
last time we started this process in the spring. It took several renditions to get it right, because not only did we have problems with transportation, we also had problems with safety and security. And then when we attempted to go through and make the modifications to that, then there was a lot of issues with that. And so where we settled was a space that we thought was conducive for the district. Thinking that we were halfway decent and good with where we landed, then the competition pulls the rug out from up underneath us, and we're back at square one, almost, if you will. There will be some challenges. There will have to be some caps on where we say that the maximum salary for a bus driver is on the pay scale, but that's going to take some time to work through, and we'll have to work through HR and with the business office to figure out what those exact numbers will be.
Are we offering benefits that the other places don't?
So one of our number one competitors has their 403B or retirement plans that they have is just that 401k, 403B. Ours is teacher retirement program. And so our benefit structure is much more robust than theirs. But I think it's right now the economy and the way where we are in society right now. People are right now, they want money right now. And so it's not one of those things career-wise where, hey, I'm going to be here for the long haul. Folks need this money right now to pay bills. And they're going wherever that CDL will get them the highest dollar right now.
Valid point.
So, we only have 3 in training, but we need 20?
We're hustling. There were approximately 14, 15 applications come through. Give you an example, they were getting ready to start to take in 4 on Monday. None showed.
One thing out of all the parents I think I talked to the week before last, the biggest is just the concern that several things happened. I had one who had one middle schooler that was left at a bus stop by himself because the bus was full. And I know the news said there were 5 to a seat. I've been on that bus. I don't think 5 kindergartners could sit in one seat.
We can only get 3 in a seat.
Yeah, but I don't want a middle schooler left all by himself at the bus stop. If we have 3 standing there and we can't fit all 3, we shouldn't pick up any. We don't need to leave one by himself.
Oh, no, listen, I would agree with that tenfold. But here's the problem that we're facing sometimes. I've got a mechanic that I've got driving that we hope that he's passionate or enough to make sure that a kid is not left behind. But sometimes things get lost in translation because that's not his everyday job. And so from a protocol standpoint, it makes it a little bit tough because everybody's not on the same page and we're trying to get there. And I think the attendance piece where it's 100 degrees, and I'm 55 years of age and I don't have air conditioning on the bus, I'm not going to work.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just call it what it is. The bus is hot. I mean, when you got fans rolling or whatever the case may be, it's just blowing hot air. And we're putting water on buses, we're putting water for kids, availability to drive back. But even where we have parents that call and says, hey, my kid is extremely color sensitive to the heat and he's red and dehydrated or whatever the case, it's because the bus is hot. Now, I don't control that piece. And if we really, really talk about it, you know, I've been here 7 years, this is my 8th year here. And we've talked every year about equipment and buying buses and that kind of thing. And I've always made the recommendation that we should be buying 10 to 12 buses a year to update the fleet. Well, from then to now, we may have purchased 24 buses. Those new buses do have air conditioning, that kind of thing. But if we go by what we should have been buying for the 7, 8 years, we'd have 84 buses with air conditioning. I've got 98 drivers that would have had potentially air on a bus. So there are some things that have been talked about, and I'll be quite honest when I say this, previous superintendent could care less about it. Because I wasn't quiet about this issue. I was very vocal about this issue, and you guys know I talk about the issues that are important on a regular basis, which I'll talk about a couple of more when it's time for the construction side of it. But there's some onus here from a district perspective that we got to own, and that's one of them.
The other things I heard was, you know, from the time they leave their house to the time they show up at school, they're our responsibility, and not that parents. At that point, we should be responsible for them. But a parent, some of these parents have to leave their kid at a bus stop, go to work, and not know if that elementary child was ever picked up. So as a parent, that is the worst feeling, to wonder whether your child got picked up, and then they're getting texts saying the buses are late. So now they have a child, an elementary child, sometimes standing out there on a bus stop, and they're at work.
Yes, ma'am.
And so, you know, we've got to do something to be able to alleviate their fear of what could happen. I mean, you and I both know what this world is. I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
all kinds of things can happen while that child's standing at that bus stop. So one of the things I know was brought up, like Jacksonville has the scanning system where they scan their badge as they get on the bus, and then they scan a badge as they get off, so that the parent can go into an app and see where their child is. I think that even that would alleviate some of the concern that they have about whether their child was picked up. I mean, we had situations where they were not picked up for over an hour.
Yes, ma'am.
And a parent had to leave work and come back and get them and take them to school. And it's hard for me as a parent to, you know, hear what's going on and not just lose it. I mean, I'd be up here.
Oh, absolutely. And to your point, a couple of years ago, we moved to Transfinder as a software packet that had some additional add-ons would help us get to that stage in the process of growing the transportation department.
Because you can see where the buses are, correct?
No.
You cannot.
No, we have the software, we don't have the add-ons to that particular software.
Okay.
And our fleet is older, so we don't have the sensors on the fleet for that.
So you have no GPS on the buses?
No, ma'am, we do not.
Okay.
What?
No.
You can just
Really?
GPS the bus driver's phone.
The phone, but I'll go back to the piece. From a software perspective, we had started moving in that direction when Mr. Blake was here by changing software platforms and that type of thing. But when it came down to the cost of basically doing the add-ons, much like right now, we're doing event management by paper and pen, and we're getting ready to move over to Operation Hero.
You're talking about football games and that kind of
Yeah,
stuff?
we do it online. That way, so we can see it, we can track the funding, we can do all of those things. But we're just now to a piece to add that on. But the funding has to come from somewhere. And so with the previous superintendent, that wasn't a priority.
So, you know, that's the other thing I heard was band and cheer didn't get to go to El Dorado.
El Dorado. Yes, ma'am.
I was writing it out. We were talking about it earlier. So, you know, the band and the cheer, that is part of the football team. I mean,
It absolutely is.
and they pay, I don't know if band does, but cheer pays for a part of their fees go to pay for the buses.
Absolutely.
And then they were told they still had to be there, so some of the parents had to drive them 2.5 hours down there and 2.5 hours back.
Which we regret, but here was the deal. We have students that were basically getting out of school and had to be transported home. versus
Yep.
some folks going to a football game.
So we have coaches with CDLs.
We're recruiting those folks to drive, and those who don't have them will be getting them.
They were told they couldn't drive.
Now, that was predated a lot
Okay.
of things. That is not the goal.
Because I think Sylvan Hills, they all have CDLs.
They can all they can all drive. Matter of
Okay.
fact, I'll set some buses over for them.
Well, I was gonna say, can we get buses to that feeder where we could supplement some of the routes, but also use them for events?
Well, here's the deal also. We sent out at one point in time, an advisement for those folks who were interested in driving. And the flip side of that coin is if they're driving for us and we're paying for them to drive, then that's added income to them on their retirement benefit package. And so it increases their thresholds if they're willing to drive, and we'll compensate them for that. We were not successful in that in the past.
Okay.
But we're always more than open and welcome to that. And I highly
Sylvan Hills
encourage
is
that.
ready. I'll
Yes,
tell them.
ma'am, I'll take that under advisement.
So you mentioned the $18.10, that's where we're at on starting pay right now?
There's about approximately.
It's about the $18.
Yes, sir.
I just want to give it the number at the other end, though. If you've driven for 26 years, you get $29.66 in this district, because that's our pay structure. Some people may not know that. So that's the other side of the coin. Now, let's say that you had like an over-the-road trucker for 20 years there, or 26 years that retired. Would they come in to apply? Would they be put on step 1, or would they be put on step 26?
It depends on where HR verifies their employment and their experience, and they put them in based on their experience.
So they'd have to have a passenger endorsement.
1 or 26, Dr. Williams? Yeah.
As he said, it's what we can verify.
Case
So
by
if we
case?
can- If we can verify it, that, we can count that.
Okay, all right,
But it has to be verified, and we have to verify it with the company.
okay.
Oftentimes, we will get things that they tell us, but then we can't find the company.
Okay, yeah, you verify every person on a case-by-case basis. If they drove a forklift around Costco, you might not give them the credit, but if they were an over-road trucker, you might actually do that, okay.
Yeah, and that's not part of that search process.
Yeah, right. But I just want people to understand, if we find people that have a lot of experience, they can come here and get,
Oh, top salary.
yeah, top dollar.
Yeah, and here's the thing that, and not just in the transportation department, but everyone that works in operations as well. Everyone is a recruiter on our team. And the biggest thing is to be able to talk about the benefit package, because a lot of times most folks see the money that's on the front end, but they don't see the money over the life of service. And so it's incumbent upon us to be able to tell that story. And when you tell that story, you'll be surprised at how many people are like, oh, my bad, I missed out, I need to come back. And so we're avidly pushing that agenda to make sure we can secure and keep people as far as retention goes.
You referenced one of our biggest competitors, and I think you mean Little Rock School District, right?
I didn't say that.
But I think it's important to understand but you said if somebody gives a 403 plan,
Yeah.
and that's
401, 404, and that piece that's their retirement plan.
Yeah, but
It's not teacher retirement.
But
It's
but see, Little Rock outsources their bus drivers.
That's correct.
And but when you outsource, it allows you to strip benefits off of the employee and pack them into the hourly rate, which doesn't necessarily happen, in a school district, because we put benefits on. So, you may find, I'm pointing this out as a challenge, is that if somebody's just looking at the hourly rate and not thinking about their future, Little Rock can sort of like, give a higher hourly rate because they're not in teacher retirement or whatever. And so these are the type of challenges, the Rubik's Cube that the district is working in, because some districts have decided that they're just gonna make their top line hourly rate really high for starting pay, and then strip all the benefits off of things. And when you employ people in a school district, because they outsource, but when you employ people in a school district, you have to give them the benefits, but also, that's part of the selling, right? Is that if you stay in the system for 5 years, you'll get a retirement, right? In teacher retirement, that's correct, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. So if you vested for 5 years, drive a bus for 5 years, you'll get a pretty decent, retirement plan for somebody who's worked 5 years.
That's correct. And I think the other side of that coin too is that the district pays in, you pay your 7% in, and the district pays in their 14%. But when you look at those other entities where they're being paid on a contract, the state is still charging that district for that employee that, as far as teacher retirement go, because they've got to recoup that money that they're losing. It's almost like the healthcare process right now. For all those folks who get off of the healthcare platform, the cost increase for everyone else that's still on the platform.
Yeah, right,
So
right.
the state's doing the same thing when it comes down to that.
This was not an attempt to broach outsourcing. It was more to point out that we're competing
Right.
against people who have.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that changes the math, and it can attract people who just want to make as much money as they can today,
That's
right
correct.
now, starting out. So the type of drivers that we would be attractive to are people who have a little bit of experience to get off the floor of the first step, and people that want to do it for a while, that
Oh,
want to be
absolutely.
invested in it.
And here's the thing, we're recruiting through regular channels. We also do social media, word of mouth, and then handing out paper stock with QR codes just to be able to recruit, retain folks to come to work for us. That's a big piece for us.
Okay.
So if somebody has a CDL, will you help them get their passenger endorsement?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Listen, I want to make sure we're clear when I say this. If you have a high want to, we're going to basically walk you through the process and take care of the things that we need to take care of to get you to your license. If you come and you've got some experience that can help us get you there a little bit faster, we're all for it. But we're not turning folks away when it comes down to transportation, if they are a good fit. Now, if you're bad for kids, you can't work for us, right? But let's just call it what it is. But if you are a good fit and you have a high want to come and basically help us be good servants in this process of trying to take care of our kids the best that we can, then we're all in. We want you.
So, sir,
Yes, sir.
the help you're giving out for the CDL payment or the passenger thing you were saying, that's all without a contract. So there's no, okay, you stay for a year if we help you do this, there's no contract involved in that, or?
If we're putting money out for you, you're going to sign a contract.
Okay. And then,
Because then we're bound together as a partner in the
Right.
platform. All right, you got to have some paperwork somewhere to make it binding.
and then are you bound by time? Work for us for a year, work for us for 2 years? Because you were saying the problem was you would pay for the CDL,
Yes, sir.
and they would move to a higher paying position or competitor. So do we not have a contract bounding them to us to work for us for a year or two, maybe?
We're doing that.
Okay, so that's what we're working on now.
Absolutely. So
Okay.
give you an idea right now. Once we go through the onboarding process and we bring a person in, we do their days of training that we have to get them trained for. Then they've got to go and test with the state police, right? And then that $50 payment towards, you get 3 tries on the test, right? And oftentimes what's happening is they're bombing out on the test, right? And so there's $50 that's gone, and we lost all the time spent trying to chase that person to get that part of the process done. Is it a study habit, or can a person grasp the information that's basically being put out in front of them? Those are the things that we've got to take an internal look at on how do we better help those folks that really want to be here get across the finish line. Then once they get across the finish line, the contract will take care of the business.
Okay.
And I've seen the contract. It
Yes, sir.
starts out, I think, at like $1,000, right? Like, if they work for like a few weeks or a few months, it goes down slowly for the first year, right?
Yes, the contract is $2,500. So by the time we go
okay,
through
that's
all of the training, the hours in training and all that, the recuperative cost is $2,500. Over a quarterly period of the cycle of their agreement, then it's prorated down from that standpoint.
So if they drive for 3 months,
Then it's 25%
and they
off.
quit. So they don't have to work the full year but if they quit in the middle, they're gonna have to pay something back. It may not just be the full 25 if they've worked half a year.
That's correct.
So it was thought through, it was implemented with legal, and we're giving these contracts out now to people in training, right?
Yes,
If they
sir.
wanna start training.
Yes, sir.
I have a bunch of questions, Mr. Johnson.
Yes, ma'am.
You said that a lot of times they just aren't good test takers and they don't do well on the test, and so
That's the scenario, yes, ma'am.
3 and out. have we thought about maybe doing some sort of study sessions for this group of people, like come on, I don't know, Tuesday at 3, and we're gonna go over study questions and a study guide so that we can help you with these tests. I don't know if that's even possible, but it's just an idea that I just thought about.
Well, the only hardship you have with that, with most of these folks that are coming in, is time. And time is not on their side when they're trying to put food on their table. So when we go through, I think we went back and implemented a piece to where if they're training, we're gonna pay them during their training phase to make sure they have some money coming in to be able to pay their bills, the gas, that type of thing. Are we looking at all of that? Absolutely.
Okay. I heard you say that retention tends to be an issue.
Yes.
So when a driver leaves, do you guys try to do some sort of an exit interview or a survey to find out every reason that they are willing to give you that they left? So for example, it could be money, it could be student discipline, it could be that they don't feel supported by their department, it could be a number of different things, but if we could figure out why they're not happy, money's not everything. Money's important, but it's not everything. So if we could figure out why they're leaving, then we may be able to address some of the root causes of why they don't want to stay here and why they want to go to another district in the area. So maybe that's something to consider too. Find out when they leave, if they're willing to talk, why they're not happy, why they're choosing to go somewhere else. I've been a proponent of that for teachers, for all staff for a long time, because I'm about retention and relationships. Are there any attendance incentives for drivers? So I heard you guys say that a lot of times they call out due to working conditions, what they view as working conditions. It's too hot. I think that's the only thing I heard you say. Maybe there was something else, but I was taking notes too. My point is there any way that we could offer some sort of attendance incentive? Look at that. I know that we're financially kind of strapped as a district right now, but sometimes, $100 is almost a water bill, or it's gas for a couple of weeks or whatever. So maybe we could look at doing some sort of attendance incentive for these positions. Sorry, Mr. Sin, I'm spending money, but what is the cost of training? You said that's $2,500, right?
Approximately.
Roughly. How long does it take to get a CDL? If you've got a person that's coming in that says, I want to be a bus driver, but I don't have any experience, I don't have a CDL, obviously I don't have a passenger endorsement, how long does that process take?
I'll let Mady speak to that one.
Well, we do have in-class that you spoke on earlier.
Okay.
To teach, so we do have in-class, usually take about 5 days. If they need more, they can have more. And they do have sample tests for them to go over. So, when they go take their test, it's 5 different tests.
Yeah.
But they do have that for, and I just got sidetracked.
It's okay.
But,
So you said 5 different tests. Is that
well,
what
I'm
you
just
said?
saying, it's so many different
Okay,
tests.
there's a
we can
bunch
do.
of
variations of
Because
test
variations of
Okay,
tests,
all right.
because I've taken,
Okay.
and so many variations, but they do have the class setting
Okay.
for them for a week. And then they have 24 hours over the road that they have to do. And then they're ready, for all the onboarding process.
Okay. So you said that we have people who are not specifically bus drivers that we're trying to find to fill in the gaps for bus
Oh, no,
drivers,
we're
right?
filling the gaps. They're
So-
They have a CDL.
So my question is, you said that sometimes it feels like we're not all on the same page as far as pickup and dropping off students. Can we try to develop a document that basically sets the standard for what needs to be done when students are being picked up, what needs to be done whenever they're getting dropped off, so that we can do everything possible to make sure that we're on the same page? Create a document, have everyone sign it, so that everyone who's a driver, have them sign it so that they know what's expected of them. Because what we don't want is people coming back and saying, I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to leave one kid at the bus stop. I didn't know. So if we have that standard that's set, then they can be held accountable.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, but I don't know what's already in place from
Okay.
that perspective. But I would say absolutely.
Okay. I have had a lot of complaints about the Northwest Bus Depot not answering the phone. I have experienced this myself. It is incredibly frustrating when I don't know where my kid is. He's fortunately driving right now, but if I don't know where my kids are, I panic. And my kid is a junior. So for these little kids, these elementary, these middle school kids, their parents need to know where they are. Is there some sort of procedure that's in place, policy that's in place at the bus pounds that requires people to answer the phone, for example, like by the third ring? As an example, I had an employee at one of our schools say that the standard had been set for secretaries that they must answer the phone by the third ring. Is there a standard at the bus pounds? Because if there is, based on what I'm getting from parents in my zone, that standard is not being followed, and they're getting, understandably, very frustrated and very upset.
Well, I'll let Mady touch on that, but I'll say this piece. Based on the sheer volume of calls, they're not gonna get picked up on the first, second, or third if I've got 20 people calling at the same time. That's been my piece, because I've taken some of those same calls from parents, and the first thing I do is reach out to Mady and her dispatcher. We put dispatchers in place 3 years ago because we didn't have them. And that dispatcher's responsibility is to stay in direct communication with the bus drivers at all times. But if they're trying to service, and sometimes they get really, really busy. Northwest is the busiest pound because we've got 49 drivers basically at that pound, and that got one dispatcher trying to service all of them, along with the route supervisors if the route supervisors are not driving a bus. And so it's been a little chaotic. I'll be the first one to say that. Should they be picking up the phone fairly quick? Absolutely. But I'll let Mady speak to that piece of it.
Well, just to piggyback on what you said, the dispatcher's always at her seat, but the phone is constantly ringing. I'm there in the morning, from sun up to sundown, I'm
She
there.
is.
So, and we catch the phones when they're coming, and they're constantly coming.
So can we implement something to make the calls roll until they're answered?
We'll follow up with IT to see what we can get done.
I had a comment from someone yesterday that there were some buses or some kids that were left at Maumelle Middle School. I don't know whether or not I don't know if that's accurate. I don't know if it was bad information that was given or if it was true. But my point is, when an employee of one of these schools called the bus pound, she told me her exact words were she spam called, because she was trying to find out why are these kids here? They should be on bus 260. Why are these kids still here? And nobody was answering the phone. I called the bus pound myself at 4:45, and they did answer. But 4:45 is an hour after these kids should have been picked up from school. So I think from a parent's perspective and from an elected representative's perspective, we need to do everything possible to make sure that those phones are answered, or roll the phones until they are, and then have some sort of a standard like I have at my job. If I miss a call, I'm required to call those people back, keep a log, so that people don't have to worry about where their kids are. Our kids are our most precious things in the world. We have to make sure that parents are comfortable with their kids riding our buses, and that they know where their children are at all times. So, okay, sorry, off my soapbox now, as far as that goes. Is there typically an on-call person at each bus pound that is there from the time that the buses leave in the morning to pick the kids up and until they all get back to that particular pound? And then in the afternoon, from the time that the kids are picked up until they return to the pound after dropping the kids off? Is there somebody there until all those buses are accounted for back at the pound, both in the morning and the afternoon?
Someone is in the office all day.
But is the person there until the last bus comes back? So do you guys?
Until the last student is on the bus, it's off the bus, I mean.
Okay, so they don't stay until the bus comes back and the bus checks in and says, I'm back, I'm parked. No, okay. What is the process? What should parents do in order to get status updates on a bus location when their child's bus is running late? Like, what, should they call the bus pound? Maybe we need to put out a document that says, if your child's bus is late, here are the steps that you need to take. Just so that parents know. I've tried to inform them, call the bus pound, don't call the school, people leave the school, that there should be someone at the bus pound. The school doesn't necessarily have the ability to tie into the transportation system and see where buses are. So you can call the school, but they're just gonna call the bus pound. So can you please tell me what parents should be doing when their buses are late in the morning or in the afternoon?
If the buses are late, they need to call the complex, call the town,
Okay.
because the dispatch is there. And normally if the bus is gonna be late, they will send a message out, this is at each complex.
Are we 100% sure that that notification system is notifying parents accurately? Because I'll tell you, my son is assigned to bus 260. He drives himself to school right now, but there have been times that I have seen the bus get there late and I have not gotten the notification. So there may be some sort of a disconnect between the app that sends out the notifications and the parents who are supposed to receive them. And what I have told parents is make sure that you don't have the number blocked, do everything on your end to make sure that you're able to receive those notifications. But is there a way to tell if those notifications are kicked back due to a bad phone number or anything? I just want to make sure that we're getting them out if a parent has a phone number on file.
One of the reasons that we put dispatchers in place was to help with the communications piece as well. They utilize 3L Share to send messages out to specific routes for parents. At the beginning of school year, it's always going to be horrendous because routes are basically, kids are being assigned to routes. Sometimes if we don't get them done during the summer, but if kids get there to a certain school at the beginning of school year, they're not in the system, so they get put in the system and we'll send those out. So there's a lot of mass communications going out. I seen a lot of frustration early in the year based on what I would call in the Sherwood area with the sheer number and volume of 3L Share messages that were going out, but then we were also having trouble with the drivers at the same time, and folks were not getting picked up on time or they weren't getting delivered at time. And it was really, really a nightmare trying to get those out and then send everybody that we could to go and drive for the big deal with students. We're working to get better with that. But as far as the messages that didn't arrive, I don't know that I can answer that one. I think that's an IT issue or communications department issue. But we'll investigate that to see if I can get you some information on that.
I think that would be really good, because if a parent has their number on file to receive those notifications and they're not getting them, then maybe we should enlist the help of IT to find out why.
Agreed.
Because it could just be just an IT error.
Correct.
And something that's easily fixed. I am with Ms. Maynard. I feel like it might be a good idea to explore some sort of a bus tracking system where parents can log into an app. Have you guys explored that? I know that it's expensive. I get that. I was on the phone with a vendor today for almost an hour. He's willing to do a presentation. I think we just need to start somewhere. And maybe we can't do it right now. Maybe it's something that we look at in a year from now or whatever, but our kids are precious cargo. So are you actively looking into some sort of a bus tracking system that you can bring to us as a recommendation?
Yeah, we have a platform already. The biggest thing now becomes, I can do anything you want me to do, providing you tell me I got funding to get it done.
Same as it's ever been, right, Mr. Johnson?
Show me the money.
Show me the money and I'll do it.
Let's get it rolling. I'll get it done.
Would
But
you mind-
the software that we're using is one of the industry's best softwares. And like most software platforms, they have a host of add-ons that you can add on to the software. What I don't want to do is mix softwares where I've got to leave one platform to go to another one to basically try to get it to integrate and see if I can basically make both of them work together. I'd rather use the one that we invested in, which is the higher tier, that's why we went to it, and do the add-on, and you can get your same benefits.
What's it called?
TransFinder.
Does it, offer an add-on for a parent app to find out where the bus is?
I believe so. Mady and her team, there were several people that we sent out specifically to get trained on it. It was the 2 route supervisors and Mady, so I'll let her speak to that.
Yes, it is.
Do you have any idea what the cost of that is?
No,
Okay.
I don't have a cost, but I can get you.
Okay, that would be great. I think the biggest takeaway for me has been the communication. I think we have to figure out a better way to communicate with parents. We have to have someone answering those phones. That's the biggest thing. I can tell you from personal experience, my first year that my kids were in this district, my oldest son and my youngest son were involved in bus accidents by October, within the first couple of months of school. And my youngest son was in 3rd grade. It was terrifying to be at that bus stop at 2:50 or 3 o'clock to pick him up, and he wasn't there. And I called the bus pound, I called the school, and I couldn't get an answer. I was in panic mode. I didn't know what to do. And then I found out he was in an accident, but nobody could tell me how bad it was. It was terrifying. It ended up being okay. But my point is, if I had had just peace of mind at that point to know that my child was okay, here's where the bus is, wait just a few minutes before you go up there, there's authorities on the way, everybody is fine. That would have put my mind at rest. I would have still been worried because that's my baby, but I didn't get that reassurance for an hour. So for an hour, I was worried about where my 3rd grader was. That cannot happen.
Oh, I agree.
So I think we just need to focus on answering the phone, figuring out a way to make sure that all those calls are answered or that all those parents are called back, just so that we know, that they know that we care.
With having 49, you had 49 drivers, right, going out of Northwest? Why do we only have 1 dispatcher when we've got a dispatcher for 23 and 22 at the other 2?
You know what I had to do to get the 3 that I got?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like pulling teeth. So when we go through allocations process and we put that on the table, and I'm gonna be real candid when I say this, the previous superintendent lacked commitment to this process. It took Mr. Blake leaving. I was on hold for almost a year. Mady had to run as the interim. And then when I finally got clearance to try to hire somebody, we weren't paying enough, so I missed that first candidate after 10 people that we interviewed. I put it back on the street, interviewed another 10, got a great candidate in. Previous superintendent didn't like it, so he was dismissed. Then I put it back out on the street, a year later, and we ran through the interview process this past summer. And after 2 years, I'm finally getting a transportation person. I was screaming at the top of my lungs, not only for transportation, for safety and security as well. Yeah, you guys know me, I don't really bite my tongue when it comes to that. I am just as passionate as you are when you get phone calls from your constituents on you guys, like, hey, turn up the pressure because we need this done. Well, hey, I'm your pressure guy. I'm gonna take it. We're gonna fight like the blazes to get it done. But without commitment, I'm a dead man in the water. So it's gotta be a two-way street. It just can't be looking at where we're pointing the finger and say, go get this done. Y'all gotta have some skin in the game with me.
Well, I do want to say that I appreciate Miss Mady talking to me. She spent a while trying to explain stuff to me on the phone from somebody that does not know. I can't even back up my minivan, so
Yes, ma'am.
you don't want me driving a bus. But she was very patient with me and answered questions, and I really appreciate it.
Listen, her 30-some-odd years of being in transportation alone has been a lifeline for me in this process, and we are getting better. Every opportunity is an opportunity to learn for us, and we're just trying to make sure that we can do what's best for kids. I hear you, Ms. Potter, and I can assure you we're just as concerned as you are. When we have an incident take place, our route supervisors are the first ones on the scene because they have a very specific checklist that they got to go through. Because we as administration need to know, do we have injuries? Do we have folks that need to go to the hospital? Is the state police involved? Have we got our incident report started? We've got to start doing our call-outs. You got to remember also, we got a new communications person process. So it's a lot of moving pieces that we as a team have to rebuild, make sure it's solid, and we'll get it right. It's just taking us just a little bit of time just to work through the details.
Do you have a specific program that you know of that answers kind of what they're saying, like the kids, do they still wear all their little, badges? Yeah,
Yes,
right?
ma'am, IDs and
Yes,
whatnot,
so,
yes.
Sometimes.
Wow.
valid.
Sometimes.
But they wear those onto the bus, and is there some kind of a program that you know of that kids swipe like they were asking, or is it just a matter of us putting a tag on the buses to know where they're at?
So you have two ways you can go through that.
Mm-hmm.
They can be scanned, the badges can be scanned, or you can have what is called proximity technology on the bus, and it can be read via antenna as a person walks past it with their name badge. Like, so when we go in this building to get in the building, it's a proximity reader that will read the information that's on the card that's on this card to let me know Curtis entered the building at 7 a.m. in the morning.
Hey.
Okay. So back to TransFinder, there are some software pieces that will allow us to do that. Question is, we'll go figure out what it costs and we'll bring it back to you.
Yeah, because there's really no point in knowing where the bus is if you don't know if your kid's on
Yeah.
the bus.
Correct.
Right. I'd rather be able to identify the child on the bus and the time they entered, when the bus picked up, they're on their way, they're 5 minutes from your house or from the bus stop.
So it's a 7-0 vote. What I'm hearing is that I just need to bring it back. I got 7-0.
Well, listen,
Don't back up now.
I'll give up my salary for that.
You gotta get it past Mrs. Guest first, so.
Well,
let's put the superintendent in the middle here, okay?
he don't have to vote this, though. You don't have to.
You gotta go across. I have one last question.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Johnson, what should a parent do if they cannot get in touch with someone at the bus pound to give a status? Like, is there a supervisor that they can call? Because if it's taken 30 or 45 minutes to get in touch with someone there, I feel like a supervisor or multiple supervisors should be involved so that they can obviously answer the parent's question about where their child is, but also it would give the supervisors an idea of the volume and how many calls are not being answered.
If I am a parent with a kid on a bus that I've got assigned to a pound, then I'm gonna do my due diligence to make sure I got every number I need just in case there's an incident or emergency. In this case, I think we go through and list our route supervisors, all the folks in transportation by pound, and if we have not, we'll go out and make sure and verify that it's out there. But as a parent, I would definitely make sure I reach out. And here's a more important piece. I take phone calls every day at the office, and my calls are routed to me that I take.
Are you giving me permission to give parents your phone number?
It's listed. As long as it's not my personal, you good.
I might need to get your district number. I'm looking at the website now, and the only number that I see listed for the Northwest Complex is the office number 234-2950.
Maybe.
That rolls over to all the phones, the 50.
Okay.
And also, if they call another pound, they can radio us and have us to call another number, just utilize any number on there if they can't get the one that they're trying, but that 50 rings throughout the building.
Okay. It does have the supervisor's name listed on here, but there's not a direct phone number for the supervisor, so maybe Well,
we just hired a couple. So you got, the Northwest Pound has 2 supervisors. One that was a long-term router that just got promoted, and then I think, when did we hire Ms. Nelly?
Like last September.
Yeah, so she should be listed.
the only one I see is James, I don't know if it's Nowden or Noden.
Nowden.
And then I see the one for Sylvan Hills, but, my point is, I think parents would really appreciate being able to get somebody.
Yeah, the first person I'll tell them to call, if they can't reach a supervisor, is call dispatch, and we'll put those numbers out there.
Okay.
Because the folks on dispatch are sitting on the phone, and they're sitting on radios, and every route supervisor, I have a radio. So anybody can be reached by radio.
Well, I know when I called yesterday, it took several minutes for, I mean, I could probably look at my call log now and tell you how long I was on the phone, with the dispatcher, I'm assuming is who it was, trying to get in touch with bus 260 and bus 257.
Can you make sure we have all those numbers?
We'll do just that.
Okay. So the problem will continue and the effort to fix the problem will continue after this conversation. Are there any final questions or anything on the transportation piece before we move to the construction piece? Okay. Thank you, Ms. Nichols.
Yeah.
And Mr. Johnson will remain in the box for construction updates.
All right. Ready?
Yep.
Mark, get set, go?
Go.
All right. So we're getting close as far as the DSEC case go. And Devin, with our legal team, has advised us that Judge Marshall is looking to either tour the remaining portions of Mills' DSEC case in either December or January. And so we're trying to lock in a date for Judge Marshall's tour. And at some point in time, when we get that, we'll put that out for consumption. Community meeting in regards to the master plan is scheduled for December the 11th, 2025, here in the boardroom at 6 p.m. And that's the annual biannual master plan meeting where we do our 6-year projection. Okay. Moving next to Mills High School. Yesterday, we grand opened the final portion of the three pieces of Mills High School, which was the arena. We still have a few outstanding pieces that are left to be done. Safety rails are on back order, and some of the seating is scheduled on back order. The last piece, as far as the locker rooms go, the lockers are scheduled to ship on October 17th. We're hopeful that we'll receive them between the 22nd and 24th, and hopefully take 3 days to install them upon receipt. Folding wall partitions, as far as the 4 classrooms that were added or expected to be installed this week, and when they're done, we'll be good to go. We'll fully turn the building over once the lockers are installed in the facility. We have some safety rails when the bleachers are retracted back and pulled back. They have been reviewed and drafted, and pricing has been provided by Kinko. It just has to be fabricated, and once we get those in, we'll get them installed. Those are the final pieces as far as Mills High School go at this time frame. There are still some ancillary punch list items that we'll continue to do as it pertains to Mills High School. But thank God, we reached the finish line.
But that project will stay open until those things are done, right?
That is correct.
You'll still have Kinko's on call and hooked into that.
And they'll be hooked in for 5 years.
Okay.
And so typically,
That's right.
Yeah, state contract for construction is 5 years. They're on the line for 5 years,
Okay.
so we're good to go. Robinson High School, we'll move to Robinson High School. We conducted the groundbreaking on the 2nd of October. It went well received by all that attended. Restrooms and expansion projects have started. We had some headaches initially at first based on permits. And the permit issue was that one of the city planning folks for the city of Little Rock wanted a certain ADA-style ramp to be put in place that was going to be $30,000. I reached out to Mayor Scott's office for assistance and asked him why is $30,000 going to hold up a $27 million project, and we got a permit for it and work began.
So was that, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the ramp was just to facilitate construction, or that's part of the entire?
The ramp was holding up the entire project.
Yeah, but he wanted it or he or she, whoever the person was, they wanted $30,000 ramp immediately, or?
They wanted it drafted into the plan.
Oh, they wanted it integrated into the plan?
That's correct.
Okay, got it.
Right. And so, based on all of the approval pathways that we had, it wasn't relevant at the time frame. So Mayor Scott actually helped us move that process along. Everything is moving as it should move right now in regards to Robinson, and we're just doing earthwork and prep work as far as underground pieces for Robinson feeder goes. And that's where we are with Robinson. We'll move to Harris Elementary. We were scheduled to start the roof and the gym floor replacement and repairs, this week. But because of testing, we postponed it till next week. So those repairs will start on the 20th of October, 2025. Building 1 design is still in progress. We're working through that with the architect, trying to figure out if we can meet a design that would meet the balance of the funding that's available for Harris. And so we're still working through that design portion. College Station is in the review process with the state. And we had one agency that had some issues from an ADA standpoint yet once again. But because we were not touching the whole campus and only the 2 buildings that were being demoed, we were exempt in those pieces and able to get that process moved over finally to ADE for their final approval process or consideration. So we're on hold waiting for that. The Department of Education did send over the initial assessment for the review, and those items that were noted on the review, we've already answered and sent back to ADE for their consideration. So we're optimistic that we can get their blessing and approval letter over the next 2 weeks. Last but not least for me, as far as wastewater concerns go, we've talked about Lawson, Landmark, and Oak Grove. I was directed to get pricing per the superintendent as far as what the actual cost would be for the district's consideration in regards to that. That is my report at this point in time. Are there any questions I can answer for anyone?
I have a few.
Yeah,
No, go.
just because I know that everything takes a really long time to get it drafted and done all those things, is it possible to get started on phase 2 for Robinson and, for Baker's repairs, just so we can have an idea of what the cost would be?
That is, one, we don't have the funding for it unless you guys tell me to move forward with.
Well, I mean, I would expect that we would at least have an idea of how much it would cost before we would investigate how to get the funding, I would think.
Well, it depends on what we're building. If we're doing the renovations that we initially talked about, that's one thing. If we're changing up the design, that's gonna be a different cost. So I just need to understand what exactly are we doing as it relates to Baker specifically. I think we did a cost comparison or projection, and I have to go back and look at those numbers. Dr. Tate and I can get that information to you. But if we're gonna change the design of Baker, then there'll be some costs, similar to what we just went through with Robinson High School. We went through 5 or 6 different variations of what that looks like from a money standpoint, and then once we said, hey, this is what we want, then we put a pin to it. So I just wanna make sure that we're clear on what we want, and I'll get the design team to get them moving.
Yeah, and I guess for Robinson, we still had the auditorium.
Green button, green button. Another side, there you go. Have a good night.
Yeah, projected cost on auditorium, you're gonna be looking at about 12 million. If memory serves me correctly, it's 12 million, but let me go back and verify that number.
Except that I talked to, one of the construction guys when we were at the groundbreaking, and they said that they had a plan drawn up to do it with where the basketball court is now, instead of taking up the parking on the other side. So maybe we can look at that.
There were several renditions of that platform when we first got started. I'd have to go back and look specifically at what they talked about, or what they're talking about. I think the thing that we ended up settling on is to make it part of the far west side of the building where the current cafeteria is, so that when you do the auditorium, you can redo the cafeteria at the same time.
Yeah, the only problem with that is then we end up losing parking again.
If we move it to where the old gym is, you're gonna definitely lose parking. If we're under construction while what we're doing right now, it would be a better bet, and this is just me, this would be a better bet if it was the west side where construction is already taking place. That way you don't lose any additional more spaces as it relates to construction.
Yeah, well, maybe like you said, maybe they could draw up a couple of options and we could see what just ballpark, so we know what to start.
We can revisit it, Dr. Tate.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Update on the Robinson bathrooms at the baseball field.
Construction has started.
Do we have an ETA for completion?
We said February for
Okay.
baseball
Are we
season.
still on track?
We're still on track.
Okay. Maumelle softball fence completely moved by now?
I have not went to follow up on that one, but I
Yes.
would say yes.
Okay. And the AC and I don't know, I can't remember if it was in the field house or the indoor practice facility at Maumelle High. Everything running well now?
I have to follow up. I'm unaware. I know about the HVAC. I haven't followed up. I'll have to follow up.
As aware as I am, so far it's been pretty good, but don't take my word for anything.
Okay.
Double check for sure.
If you're not hot, we're good.
And then you have to forgive me, we got like 100 HVAC systems that were down during the same time frame.
They had ordered
It's been ordered,
piece
yes.
for the fan motor, and I think it had came in and they'd fixed it. I talked to Kurt. But again, I'd have to go, I hadn't been in there, so, but I had heard that it was.
Okay.
I just wanted to confirm, so we're on hold for one project, but we're on go for everything else.
In regards to what?
It was the second to last update you gave. We're on hold.
College Station.
We're on hold for that, but
We're on hold until the state gives us final approval.
okay, but everything else
Everything is a go.
okay. Just wanted to confirm that.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Great question.
It's a normal on hold though, right?
It's a normal
State
hold,
approved.
right. And just in the permitting, agency review is typically 4 to 6 weeks to 8 weeks, depending upon where we get held up at. And if we've got a snag, it could drag it out additional 3 to 4 weeks.
Yes, sir. Okay.
And of the projects we've talked about, this was referenced earlier, but I just want to clarify for people watching, is College Station, Harris, and Robinson's projects were essentially based on the idea that we were going to get additional funding through bonds to pay for those. And that money, you know, if you would have been watching this whole thing, it's strung out for quite a while because you can't just decide one day you want money and then you get it. It's like a process. That process ended today with that $15 million being in the bank. So if there was any doubt that those projects, Robinson's first phase, Harris, and College Station are going to happen, the money that was allocated for them arrived. That's your understanding as well, right?
Well, that's what the report.
Yeah.
I ain't seen the money on my lines yet,
It's
so.
here.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it ain't in my account yet, so I can't verify what ain't in my pockets.
Right, Mr. Sin, it arrived.
It's in there. It's here, yes.
Okay. All right.
So I have a question before you leave, because you're over security.
Okay.
So my 3 SROs have no camera access anymore. It was taken away, and I have a legal opinion that says that violates LEARNS, and I'd like to know why they don't have it, why it was taken away, and when it's going to be back.
LEARNS basically requires giving real-time access. That's what the letter of the law said.
Okay.
And they had real-time access via basically the lead officer that was on duty. They've never been restricted from access. Well, let me back that up. They've had access through PCSSD. As of a couple of days ago, I sent out a directive to give the lead SRO for that campus, so if they got 3 or 4 SROs running around, not all 3 or 4 of them will have access, it'll be one. And so that person will have it, and in the event that person is absent from that campus, then it'd be admin or the security lead or security officer that's on duty will make sure they have real-time access.
So we have a Sherwood officer at the junior high, the middle school, and the middle school also handles Cato right now because Cato has no security guard. And then we have one at the high school. So those 3 you're saying are leads and should have access.
Okay, so let me back up.
Okay.
So I'm not sure who's dealing with Cato.
Well, the middle school, he just runs back and forth because we have no security guard at Cato.
So if he's got access at the one school, he'll have access at another, providing we've signed off on him to be that person at Cato. I can't speak to that being true right now because I don't know that to be true. I can say that each school that has an SRO, I gave a direction for them to have access.
Well, as of 4 o'clock today, none of mine had access.
Okay.
And my thing is, why was it taken in the first place? Like, how does that help protect our kids?
So it was taken, it was an ongoing back and forth between the previous superintendent and district policy.
Okay.
At one point in time, all video was supposed to be reviewed through Dr. Whitfield's office. That's how it was when I got here. That's how it bounced back and forth. And then at some point in time, when it was taken away, then it was given back. And so what you have across the district is some folks would have it, some folks would not. The first question I ask always is, how do you want me to proceed? We went out, got a legal opinion from Jay, because I needed to make sure I had that covered based on Somebody else's attorney, well, you're supposed to have this, that, and the third. We have a legal opinion. Based on our legal opinion from legal counsel, we made the decision to give one officer access. That's where we are. Now, that was just given. So have I followed up to make sure every officer has it back? No, I have not.
This was taken away about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they were told by Armstrong it was his decision.
At the time frame when it was taken away, it wasn't Armstrong's decision.
That's what he told the officer.
Okay, so let me just be clear,
Yeah.
because I got an
Because
issue
she
with,
clarified, she said, so you're saying this was your decision? And he said yes.
so I will say this,
I wasn't part of the conversation.
Oh, no, but
so,
I'm gonna say
again,
this.
I'm just,
she's incorrect.
okay.
And if she needed to pick up the phone and call me, I would have
Yeah.
told her she's incorrect. It's one thing, right? Mr. Armstrong has a supervisor. I talk to every chief that we do business with, intimately. But they know that they can call me and we can talk in detail. And I'm an open book when it comes to that. No different than what we've talked about here, I've talked about there. Now, as it relates to Sherwood, let's talk about that for a second since we're here. Sometimes law enforcement in Sherwood hates to hear the word no. And that's been a point of contention at times. Even to a point where an officer was removed, not by me, but by the chief himself. But then I was put out to be the scapegoat because of a relationship with the SRO and the administration. And the administration was having problems with the officer. At some point in time, and I'm a proponent of community policing, I'm a prior chief, and I'm gonna say this. Not every officer is a good officer for every situation. At times, you have to make some changes. And when a recommendation was made to change, it was denied, but then that chief pulled that officer, and I was made out to be the scapegoat for that. Not true. He pulled the officer, not me. I rest.
So,
I guess it still doesn't really answer my question why 2 weeks ago, they'd had access up until 2 weeks ago, and 2 weeks ago, it was pulled, and
But I gave you the response.
Okay, I didn't hear an answer.
That the district at the time frame had all video going through Dr. Whitfield.
Okay,
But from a learner's perspective, they had access to the video via the officer or administrator that was on campus. They could give them full access. They could review whatever video they wanted to. They were upset because they didn't have their own individual login credentials to go and review video. They've never been restricted.
but we have a couple of security guards that are unarmed. We have
Yes.
an armed police officer. If something is going down in a school, do we really want an officer to have to go find the security guard to log in so they can see where, if we have an active shooter or something like that, is that really what we want them to have
Well,
to
let me
do
say
at
this,
that
if you got an
time?
active shooter and you got an officer that's running to go look at a video, opposed to basically trying to figure out where their gun,
I don't know, I'm not a police officer,
Oh, no,
so
I
I don't
am.
know what that
I
process
am,
is.
and I can tell you.
Yeah.
His job ain't to go look at no video. His job is to go stop the threat.
Yeah.
That's his job.
I just don't understand what changed 2 weeks ago, and I think that's my concern, is I can't justify just having one person in the district looking at video when I don't think that benefits our kids.
you said you sent out a directive to get the police officers access.
I did.
And was there a time frame with that or something?
It
Because
was
that sounds like
immediately.
that.
The expectation was immediately.
Okay. So we just need to maybe see if
It's
they
a
have it.
follow-up piece to
Yeah,
make
it's
sure
a
that
follow-up.
they have it.
There you go, that's,
And I'll follow up to make sure they have it. And I'll do that when the sun comes up in the morning.
yeah. Okay. Other questions about this before we move on? You've been up there a while, Mr. Johnson.
It's all right.
On the hot seat.
And I know you, that's what you do. I've seen you up in many forums before, not just this one, and so, thank you, I think you did a great job.
I want to make it clear that you said previous superintendent.
No lie. Real talk.
It wasn't me.
No, it was.
That's what I want to be clear. That they heard that word.
Are you getting what you need out of our current superintendent?
Listen, let me say this about, Mr. Sin. There has, and Jeff, you don't owe me after this, but you all of those, right? I'm gonna tell you ahead of time. It's refreshing to be able to walk into an office and be able to sit across the table and have a conversation that really has meaning. there are fruit that come from our conversations that basically help our kids and help our administrators to basically be better administrators. That's the goal. Listen, I'm grateful at this stage. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's why I wanted you to come to the interview. You're so good at that.
All right, thank you,
Noted,
Mr.
Dr. Tate, noted.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. We'll release you to
Thank
your
you very
chair.
much. My feet says thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
Appreciate
sir.
it.
Okay, are y'all ready to do a little voting? We got our first item to vote on. It's the September 9th special board meeting minutes. I'll take a motion on that.
Motion.
Ms. Maynard has made the motion to approve the 9-9, no, this was the regular meeting, I'm sorry, 9-9 regular meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Potter has seconded. Discussion? Seeing none, I'll put it to a vote. All in favor of approving the 9-9 regular board meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next, we have the 9-25 special minutes. I'll take a motion on that.
Motion.
Ms. Maynard has made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Potter has seconded. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of approving 9-25 special meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. That brings us down to our first item of new business. We have 4. Classified PPC extended leave of absence. Dr. Williams, are you presenting this one?
Good evening. Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello. I know we're all a little tired.
Mm.
Do have that policy you just spoke of, the extended leave, policy for the classified, employees. This policy is a replication of the policy from the certified, PPC manual. As we've spoken of in previous meetings, we're trying to have some continuity in many of the processes between the two groups. And this is one of the areas where there was a difference. And just to let you know, extended leave is our option for persons who have not met the qualifications for FMLA. And we mirror the same requirements for FMLA, but some people don't work enough hours or they haven't worked the requisite years, and so they don't qualify. So if they're a brand-new teacher coming into our district and they have some type of catastrophic situation come up, they may request to have this application, to have it reviewed, to go through that process. And we look at it with the same lens as we do with FMLA. And so that was offered for our certified staff, but not our classified staff. And so this was brought from classified PPC for the board.
Questions? So as you said, this came through the PPC.
It did.
Was approved.
Yes,
So
sir.
it's now ready to be adopted by the board for immediate implementation?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Ms. Maynard has made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Smith has seconded. We're talking about the classified leave of absence. Questions? Discussion? Seeing none, we'll put it to a vote. All in favor of approving classified leave of absence policy for immediate adoption, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Next up, certified salary advancement.
Yes, so this policy is actually just clarification of a process. In certified hires, people are placed on the schedule, and Mr. Sen kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, based on their educational experience. And so what we wanted to put in writing to clarify the process is that your placement is based on the time frame that you get the degree. And so if you have 2 degrees, the first one's going to be allotted and then the next one. So if you have a master's with 30 hours or 45 hours or 60, because the Master's of Fine Arts with that group is a 60-hour master's. And so that will be what places you on the master degree lane. And then if you get another degree, you happen to get another master's, or you do graduate hours after that point, then that will place you to the next level. And so we had some questions come up, and so we wanted to make sure that our process was clarified in writing. Another portion of that you'll notice that's added is in regard to how a year is allotted to a new employee. Our district and many of the districts, throughout the state, work on a 190 contract. There are some school districts, be it a charter school or private school, they don't follow that same guideline, but we in our district require a new teacher to work at least 160 days of that 190 day contract, which is roughly 84% of that contract. And so for persons who are coming from a school that doesn't do 190, and they do 160 or whatever, which is no fault of their own, they don't control the number of days in the contract. We are requiring them the same 85% of their contract, so there's parity in that. The last piece of it, that is the last piece. The other piece was actually with the hours. We have in the past had some times where a person may have had graduate hours before they got a master's, and we paid them for those graduate hours, and then they got a master's, and then we reached all the way back and paid them again for those hours. And so in our discussions with class certified PPC, it was decided that to be in alignment with our process, which goes chronologically with confirming of degrees, we do the same with those graduate hours and maintain that forward movement. So if you have a bachelor's and you get 12 hours of graduate hours, and that's in between your master's, you'll get paid for those on that line as long as it's there. It may be changing soon. But then you get a master's, you won't get any more hours for that until you get another set of graduate hours. So we're always moving forward in that until something changes with our salary schedule. So it's just really trying to clean up the process and have it in writing so that it's clear for people when they come to our district.
Okay, questions for Dr. Williams about this certified salary advancement policy?
So I have a situation where this has come up, and this person has a master's plus 42, and then also a master's plus 57.
Okay.
So a total of 87 graduate hours.
Well, we won't give them money for all 87 hours. So what it would be was, say the 57, or whichever number you said.
42 was first.
42, so that's the first one they earned. So that would put them at a master's, and you said 42? Okay, so that would just put them at a master's, because our schedule is a master's plus 15, then 30, then had it been 45, then we could have done the other. But with that, now that's if those 15 hours aren't a part. What we do, if your plan of study for your master's requires 42 hours, that just gets you at a master's. But if you did a plan of study and it was 30, but you decided you wanted to take these other hours, then that could give you some extra.
Right.
So whatever your master's calls for, if it's 45, if it's 30, if it's 24, if it's 60, it just puts you on a master's. But if you get some more graduate hours, and they have to be graduate hours, that will put you at the next step if you have 15, 30, or 45. But that person who has the 2 masters, we can use that second master's to get them to the 45. You see what I'm saying? Because those are additional hours.
If that master's required 45 to get. If it required 42.
Well, even the fact that it's graduate hours.
Yeah, that's the key point. Okay.
So in this situation, they were explained to that it goes in order, right? And so, but they were 3 hours short based on the adding I say 3 hours. They were a fraction of a few hours short of the pay bump that came with the 2 masters with all the graduate hours.
Okay, so, based on your scenario, 42 hours with the first one, so that puts them at a master's. And you said the second one was 57 hours.
For a master, with a master's.
That would
Plus
put them at a
45 plus
master's
12.
plus 45.
But I think what happened is she's got them backwards. I think
Well-
I think the first master's was the 57.
Well, but even if it were a 57, talking about the 42,
I mean,
or whatever she said.
Well, the way I have it
Well,
written
yeah.
down doesn't really
Well,
tell me which is
if-
which.
If it were backwards, as you were saying, and the 57 was first, that puts her at a master's. The 42, because it's not 45, would put her at 30.
So she'd have 3 hours.
So she would get a master's plus 30. But if she wants to go back and do those 3 hours, take a class, graduate class, it would bump her to the 45.
The simplest way to look at it is to take the salary schedule. The salary schedule says BA, which is a bachelor. We'll pay you whatever your license says. And then if you start graduate hours, we'll pay you once you receive 12. So then you bump to that lane. Then you continue to go to class, and the next level is bachelor's plus 27.
24.
24. So then we move you to 24. The next lane goes to a master's. We don't judge how many hours it takes to get a master's, only that you show me a degree that says you have a master's. Once you show me that, I put you at master's. The next level goes to a master's plus 15. And so if you're working towards your second master's, you still get to count those graduate hours. What it keeps people from doing is I'm going to go to school and I'm going to get 80,000 hours of underwater basket weaving with no degree, and you're going to pay me for a master's plus 45 because I got all these hours, but I don't have a master's. So you cannot just go get hours, they have to be. And so the easiest way to tell everybody, follow the pay scale. Now what she was saying earlier is I'm looking at a different pay scale to where I take some of those lanes out. I think we have too many lanes. So it will be in chronological order. It'll be BA, master's plus 15, bachelor's plus 15, master's 15, and so on and so on.
And based on when your degree is conferred. So whatever you get first is what's going first. Then you get another one, then that one's going. We're not flip-flopping and going backwards.
But you would be a master basket weaver.
I have been.
Weaving something.
When I was here before, they allowed masters of basket weaving. I got like 70 hours in 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So, I'm gonna try to hit it this one more time. I think we're using terms like, when she said masters plus 57, what she may have meant is that it took them 57 hours to get that master.
No, I understood that she meant
Okay.
the master's required 57
Okay.
hours for their program of study. So
And
the
if it
pro-
came first,
Huh?
if it came first, like if
And-
that
and-
master's came first, then she's a master, that
She's
person
She's just at a
is a
master's.
master's.
Just at a
And then the
master's.
42 for the other gets you close, but not all the way
Yeah,
to
so it'll
45.
get to 30.
So that's where the tiers come out,
Mm-hmm.
is when your first master's took 57 hours, but that just gets you to master's,
Mm-hmm.
and then your second master's took you 42. And then what happens is that, can't you just switch them?
Mm-hmm.
But the key piece, I think you said is that we go chronologically. And so that's the key to understanding the whole thing, right?
We
Is
go when
that
it's conferred.
you look at when it was conferred. And if it happens, it can happen, this scenario can happen, right? That like, your first master's was 57,
Right.
but district policy is gonna be, that's the one
Yeah.
that comes first. And if it took you 57,
Yeah.
it gets you to master's plus 0.
Yeah, it cleans the process and it makes it the same for everyone.
But there will still be tiers.
There will be tiers, and I buy good Kleenex. And I console people, and I really try to sit and talk to people and explain that to them. And usually, once we have that conversation, they understand.
Well, now it's in writing too,
Yes,
so
and that's helpful.
you can get the Kleenex with that printed on it.
I will say that in my new adult version of what I call Snap GPT, because I don't do chat, it did, I asked what is the most regulated way for doing it, and it did do it this way. I just, in my personal view, find it, if there's a total number of something, I just think you just add it all up. But according to the Snap GPT, it did agree with you that that is the way that most schools do it, is in chronological order, and so as much as I don't agree with that, it's not what I do for a living, so I don't do master's degree.
College hours, I mean,
I
that's
have a
graduate
master's
hours.
in hair cutting, but that is
Yeah.
not the same thing.
That's right.
We have a motion from Dr. Tate. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Maynard has seconded. Last bits on this. Okay, I'll put it to a vote. All in favor, immediate implementation?
Yes, well, it's, yes, yes.
You wanna,
And
you
there
wanted
is a
to-
clause in there for one part of it to begin.
October something.
At
like
the-
that.
Okay, all right, okay.
But yes.
But you want that clause
Yes.
in there immediately?
Yes.
Okay, so, all right. All in favor of approving the certified salary advancement schedule for immediate implementation, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Last one for Dr. Williams is the 25-26 annual report.
Thank you, darling.
Doing trick or treat. Yeah, you need some. She's got good stuff over here.
We got the movies. We had that popcorn. That's fire.
Now, what I will promise you all is I will not read this booklet to you, okay? But I do want to hit a couple of highlights in this area, in this, the booklet. And, once accepted by the board, we will have this, available on, online. And so, it will be available, and we will have some printed copies at our local buildings. But I did want to just kind of point out a few things. Of course, this is our first year to have Mr. Sen as our superintendent, and we're glad to have him with us. And so we did want to acknowledge that. We are very close to being able to revise this portion about desegregation plan 2000. I don't know if you've had a chance to, and I'm sure this will come up later in the comments, but there is a beautiful facility, and I'm not good with directions, but it's back that way, that I had an opportunity to view yesterday, that will help us remove this part of our annual report to the public. The arena at the Raymond Cooper Arena at Mills University Studies High School was part of the pieces that needed to be trued up, as it were, to remove us from Plan 2000. And so we are anxiously awaiting those final pieces through the court to relieve us of that, but we are very proud of the work that the operations team and the contractors and everyone involved in that process did. It's a very beautiful facility. The next thing I'd like to highlight in our manual is on page 3, our academies. It was also brought up earlier today. I won't go through all of them, but if you'll notice, each of our high schools have several academies in their buildings that are helping our students find a path in life that may be college, career, or enlistment. And so just to name one or two from each of the schools, Robinson High School has the Academy of Business and Design and also the Academy of Science and Technology. Maumelle High has the Telco Federal Credit Union Academy of Business and Service, and I must say again, I was the first customer there. They also have Central Arkansas Water Academy of Science and Construction, Mills University Studies, the Lexicon Academy of Advanced Manufacturing and Construction, and Achieve Community Alliance Academy of Leadership and Social Service, Sylvan Hills Junior High and Senior High, the Arkansas Children's Academy of Medical Science. Also, they have an Academy of Business. We have an Academy of Engineering, Aerospace, and Design there as well. And all of the schools have a freshman academy where they give them the precursor steps to what that program looks like and gives them an opportunity to look at the different areas so that they can start kind of deciding what they may want to explore later as they proceed in high school years. And as you know, that program allows students to have opportunities to see different businesses, do internships as they grow in their program, and some of them will come out with credentials that will allow them to go directly to work, making very handsome salaries. So these are very good programs for our students. On page 9, just to highlight a couple of things, we are doing some updates with our technology. Our certified staffs got upgraded Chromebooks to kind of help them with facilitating that process. Our students received theirs last year. Same with our classified staff. We are every month doing cybersecurity protocols, and so we're enhancing that in our district, doing some new help desk systems and working on our intercoms. And so those are some great things that are happening through technology. And we've kind of had our finance report, so I won't go through that. But in operations, again, we have several programs going on as far as construction that have been discussed earlier, such as Robinson High and College Station and Harris. And here locally in our building, we finally got our elevator going. It's nice and smooth and safe. And we are working on the HVAC here, but it gets plenty cold, so we're doing okay. And so we're doing some great things around the district. Very proud to be a 30-year employee here. We are doing great things in our district. And so once you get an opportunity, just take some time to read through this booklet to just kind of give you some highlights of the wonderful things that are happening in our district.
Okay. State required document, by the way,
It is.
but that doesn't mean it still can't be created with love, which it was.
It was created with much love.
So state required document means state required approval. So I'll take a motion.
Motion to approve this beautiful document presented by Dr. Williams.
Okay, Ms. Smith has made a motion to approve the 25-26 annual report. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Maynard has seconded. Discussion? Seeing none, we'll put it to a vote. All in favor of approving the 25-26 annual report, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Williams.
That was a good vote.
Last item, it's one I got. Normally I do this in November, and I always say I should have done this in October. So, because it just gets it to the ASBA quicker. So, every December, the ASBA holds their annual conference. Huh? Oh, not sure about that. That is, I think it's the week of our board meeting. Yeah, so it'd be 10, 11, 12. I believe it's 10, 11, 12. I should have written that down. But the ASBA has a delegate convention, but it's on the Wednesday. And so it's just their annual delegate convention. They require, they ask for each district to send one representative to the delegate convention. Our district has 12,000 students. We send one delegate. There's a district with 300 students. They send one delegate. And so, you know, we don't have like any special power or anything. It's usually a room. I haven't been in a while, but we need to send somebody. I don't even know what's on the agenda. What happens is we nominate somebody, and I send it into ASBA, and then they send you whatever's on the agenda, and you show up Wednesday afternoon at the convention. It usually helps if you're going to the convention to get training hours, but the past 2 years it's been Ms. Smith. At least the past 2 years. Who wants to do it? Dr. Tate has volunteered.
It's so much fun. You're in a room like a sardine. It's so much fun.
Does anyone want to fight Dr. Tate for it?
I would, but I've had it for 2 years, so.
Okay. Well, I'll take a motion to approve Dr. Tate for the delegate.
Motion to approve Dr. Tate as delegate for the 2025 ASBA conference.
Okay, Ms. Potter's made the motion. Did Ms. Maynard second? Okay. I'll put it to a vote. All in favor of approving Dr. Tate to be our delegate for 2025 ASBA, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Last thing here on our business portion, consent agenda. I'll take a motion on the consent agenda. Dr. Tate's made the motion to approve the consent agenda. Is there a second? I'll second. Discussion? Seeing none, I'll put the consent agenda to a vote. All in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. That brings us down to comments from the board members.
I want to mention that Sylvan Hills High School beat Benton. Just, that's supposed to get a cheer, because that was a big deal, y'all. They were 10-0 2 years in a row, and they just beat Benton. So, it was a nail biter down to the last minute, and then they went back last week and beat El Dorado. So we got
It was undefeated.
Yeah. Huh?
It was undefeated.
So they are.
El Dorado was undefeated.
Oh, were they? Well, they aren't now.
Sure.
So we're 5-1. We're very excited. I had some great visits at Cato Elementary. I ran into Mr. Sin there, so we didn't plan that, but that's what happened. And the junior high, where we had a student that got to ring the bell at Carti for the end of her cancer treatment. So
Amen.
that was very exciting. I was at the high school when they had their career fair. They had an entire gym floor full of vendors. I mean, they had colleges from all over the South. I was pretty impressed. So it was a good event. They had a really good turnout. I think we staged it there, from what I understand, and all the schools came to that one.
Yep.
Spent some time talking to Mr. Allen, and then I'm meeting with Mr. Hudgens this week. So looking for some good things out there.
Okay.
But I'm really impressed with our, so if you want to go to a game, come to homecoming this week.
You gonna rain Friday?
I don't know. Don't say
I'd
that.
like to thank Dr. Sharkey and Mr. Sin and anyone else who had involvement in the groundbreaking. It went so well, and it was well organized, and I thought everything just went smoothly and concisely, and I appreciated it. It was exciting.
And for those who didn't hear, a little bit of sad news out of Maumelle, we lost one of our longtime SROs, Officer Stroud. He'd been at Maumelle High School as an SRO forever. So his funeral, I believe, was today. And so just keep his family in your prayers, please. It's a tough loss for us.
Yep.
Other board comments? Okay. Comments from the superintendent?
No, thank you. Everything's good. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to hold you to that.
Thank you.
Okay, so normally we would adjourn, but we have a legal agenda. At one time, it was night court, but now it's just turned into some classified waivers and settlement agreements. So we're going to take a 5-minute break to get set up for our waiver hearings. And then we'll do some executive sessions on settlement agreements, but we'll come out and vote once we're done with those executive sessions, so you'll know what we voted on. So with that, let's pause the live stream and take a 5-minute break. Are we back? Ms. Ward has made a motion to approve the waiver for Ms. Jones. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Maynard is seconded. All in favor of approving the waiver for Ms. Jones, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, I have that 6-0, and Ms. Jones also in favor. So
We just
you,
appreciate you working on our buses.
you,
Amen to that.
you are clear to go back to work.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
good, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, take us back out for a second, but keep the audio on. Sorry. Ms. Ward has made a motion to approve the waiver for Mr. Rattler. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Smith has seconded. All in favor of approving the waiver for Mr. Rattler, say aye. Aye. Opposed? You're in favor too, right? All right, well, you're good to go. Okay, thank you. Take us back out. We have a motion by Ms. Ward and a second by Smith
Smith.
to approve the waiver for Carlos Givens. All in favor of approving the waiver for Carlos Gibbons, say aye. Aye. Opposed? You're good to go.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you. Sorry you had to stay so late. Okay, our last item, it's two, but we're gonna do them both, in executive session, but when we can do it in executive session, we still come out and vote on it. So I'm gonna put us into executive session. One second. Pursuant to Arkansas law, I move we go into executive session for the purpose of the discussion and consideration of settlement offers. I've made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor of going into executive session for approving settlement offers, considering settlement offers, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, so what we're doing, don't take us out yet, what we're doing is we've got two special education settlement agreements on our agenda. We're gonna go back and review those. It involves talking about the situation with the student. We're gonna bring our attorney back. All that's allowable under law. I can quote it if you need it, but we're gonna go back, and then when we review those settlements, we're gonna come back out and take a vote on what action we've taken. You'll see all of that. So with that, put us into pause, and we'll go into executive session. Okay, we are back out of executive session where we had discussion, but we didn't take any action in there because we're gonna take it out here. So we're gonna do 2 votes. We had 2 settlement agreements in front of us. Both of these settlement agreements, they're not on the website, but if you want them, you can FOIA them using the information when I make the motion, and they'll have to be redacted, but you can get them. So, the first, I will take a motion on H-25-42.
Motion to approve.
Ms. Maynard has moved to approve the settlement agreement for H-2542. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Potter has seconded. All in favor of approving settlement H for the case H-25-42, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. And that was I believe that was the one that cost about $7,500. So if anybody's wondering what we're throwing, giving money to here. The next one, I will take a motion on H-25-20 and H-25-41.
Motion.
Okay, Ms. Maynard has made the motion. Dr. Tate has seconded. This one was the one that cost about $12,000 to settle. All in favor of approving the settlement agreement for H-25-20 and H-25-41? Those are case numbers at the department, by the way. That settlement, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, we're done with settlements. There's no further business on our agenda, so I will take a motion to adjourn. Ms. Maynard's made a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Potter has seconded. All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.